Okay, hello. I'm doing this Damar Hamlin um, breakdown, and I'm I'm guessing a lot of you are thinking, "Wow, this is taking a long time to get to this." I just haven't had time. There probably people are saying, "Dan, the guy has damn in his name, and you've not decoded him yet." Okay, there's just I'm sorry, but there's just so much to get through with this thing. It's absolutely chock plumb loaded, right? Um, I've only watched really one other decode on this, and that was, I mean, I've watched a couple other people that have mentioned it, but I've only really watched one decode on it. Rambo over at the Truth Codes has got a pretty good decode on this, and he's tying this back to the Hiram Abiff death, I guess death rebirth ritual thing there. I'm not really familiar with that story. And also the Osiris resurrection story as well. Okay, death and resurrection. Okay, and obviously he briefly mentions Jesus in with all that as well. This to me, yes, this is exactly what this is. This is a rebirth ritual going on here. This is a rebirth metaphor. I'm going to go through some of the symbolism on the field, and I'll tie back to my chart of Lorraine, the one that I use for all my decodes. And again, if this is all new to you, what I'm saying, just bear with me, and we'll get through this anyway. And I'll explain some of this stuff as we go along. But as for Rambo's decodes, I'm going to do a separate. I want to do a separate video on addressing. And again, I don't really know the stories, but I'm going to explain them. That sounds crazy, but the Hiram Abiff story, what that represents in terms of rebirth, and what is actually going on in that story, and also the Osiris one as well, because it's not like when you listen to his decode, or if you go and look this stuff up, it's not apparent, it's not clear, at least the way I believe what is being said there. It's not apparent what is going on there. So I'm going to do another video on cleaning those two ideas up. Okay, but it would make this video way too long if I go into it now. So anyway, without further ado, let's crack into this thing. Where do I even want to start with this? Okay, so what I've got here is I've got somebody has recorded the TV, and yeah, they've recorded the TV. Okay, they've got the whole incident here. So this is what would have been playing. Okay, the first thing I want to note is the place where Damar goes down. Okay, and I guess to use a pun, that I'm gonna tackle I'm gonna tackle this first part of this whole thing. There's just so much to do here. I'm gonna end up missing a lot of stuff out. I know it, but anyway, he's gonna end up tackling a guy over here at the 50. In fact, he's gonna tackle I can't remember what his name is. T. Higgins, I think, number 85. He's gonna make it over here and catch a pass, and at the 50-yard line, that's where the tackle's going to occur. Damar, of course, is wearing number 3. Okay, so what we've got is this 50 reference. Okay, the 50 is so important. The 5 and the 0. Okay, the 5 and the 0 are referencing the same thing essentially. Okay, the 0 is the Vesica Pisces. The 5 is referencing the middle point between one cycle from 0 to 10. And when we're dealing with tens, we're dealing with the idea of the spiritual cycle. Okay, think about the decimal system. Okay, think about working in tens. Okay, so this is, you know, this 50 is simply heavily referencing the spiritual kind of midpoint. It's the midpoint in the field. It's the balance point in the field. It's the mirror point in the field. This line also is representing the Vesica Pisces, the crossover from one side to the other. Okay, and this is what Damar is going to do. He's going to have a ritual sacrificial death, and he's going to cross over from one side to the other. Okay, and then back again. So this is what is happening here. It's all about that point. Everything is about the point at which balance occurs. Okay. What we've also got going on right on this 50 on the 50-yard line as well is this great big letter B for the Bengals, right? That letter B, okay, if I were to go to I can explain this, okay? This letter B, right, what you end up with, let me just go to paint. Okay, now I've got some stuff in paint already here, which, oh my lord, just ignore this for a minute, right? But the letter B, okay, I can't write now. Okay, look at that, right? So you could get quite a few numbers out of that. You could definitely get a 13 out of it. And there is a huge importance to the number 13 in the completion of all this stuff, which, I mean, I don't know. If somebody needs to know about that, I can go into the comments. But what we're really concerned with is another letter that we can make out of that, another number we can make out of that letter is the number 8. So we can get the number 8, we can get number 13, I don't know if you can see that, okay. And we can also get the number 18, because if we put a 1 and then we draw that 8 right up against the 1, okay, we get the, you know, you can just about, we get this 18, which is a stick and the 8 stuck together. Okay, so I really like the 18 here as the reference. I'm not saying that the 13 isn't or anything, but we do have Friday the 13th coming up here in a couple of days' time. Interesting as well. So we can get some numbers, right? So what I'm suggesting is this is a big 18, right? So let me go to this table, the one that I always use in my decodes, and let me explain something. The center of this table is all to do with balance, right? Here is the 18, yeah? Here's the 11, okay? And the 11 here, which is the metaphysical, what do we need to deal with? We need to deal with this 5, yeah? And the 5-0 is, here's 0, and here's the other 0, okay, with this 10. This is the beginning and the end, okay, this 0 to 10. It's basically 0 back to 0. And in between that, we got this thing, this 5, okay? So the 5 is all to do with the metaphysical, the that gateway between the two realms, okay? Between the physical and the metaphysical, okay, as well, okay? So that 0 is important on there as well. But here's that 18 that is with the 5, yeah? And we're going to see this re-emphasized during this whole thing. This 5-5, this 5-5 that's here, sorry, and the 8 as well, okay? So I will refer you back to this table, but I'm not going to keep jumping back to it, okay? Another interesting thing to note is the line of scrummage here, where this thing's starting. We're starting really roughly at the 39 yard line, okay? And it's interesting that it's not quite on the actual 39, because I'm going to show you something here in a minute with a number jump that will reference something that appears to be a 39 but isn't quite a 39, okay? Just bear that in mind as well, because this, I mean, I'm so sorry this is all over the place. So we've got the 18 here, we've got where the action is going to occur right here. The heart, again, that it had to be a heart attack. Why did it have to be a heart attack? Because the heart is the central balance point of the body. Yeah, put your arms out in a cross shape. The heart is the center of that cross. Okay, that's why the heart's so important. Where do I want to go? What else do I want to point out here? Also note where we're finishing the game on 3-7. Okay, 37, 73, and we are still in the first quarter. The first quarter. Okay, that's important to note as well. When we get back to some of this stuff later on in this video. Okay, now where do I want to go from here? Okay, what I want to do is I want to bring this forward so you can see exactly what actually happens. So let's see. The tackle has just been made. I almost want to play some of this, but I know what'll happen. It's just better if it doesn't. Okay, he's just made the tackle and he's getting up. Okay, so you can see where the tackle kind of ended up well, it'd be the 48, but you could call it the 52 as well, you know. So this is where stuff gets interesting as well, with counting up depending on which way somebody's going. I mean, yeah, this would still be the 48-yard line, but you could say it was the 52 if you wanted to. So that is interesting. And what ends up happening is he actually ends up kind of coming over, and his heart is basically on the 51 as well when he finally keels over. Okay, what I want to show you now is what actually happens, though, is we don't get to see it. Okay, and I'm going to have to play just a second of this, but what we don't, so it cuts away from that there before he keels over. It cuts away, and we come to this scene here of a crowd scene, right? I don't know. It kind of looks staged to me, but anyway, you can be the judge of that. But anyway, what's interesting about this scene that we cut to? So when he keels over, we cut to a scene. What I'm trying to explain here is he is now keeling over and having the heart attack at this point, right? And they have cut to a scene, or we have cut to a scene, or however you want to explain it. The TV has cut to a scene now that has a 1:28 on it. Okay, right here. Yeah? And what I'm saying is that 1:28 is the day before 1:29. The day of the rebirth on 1:29 would make the day before, the day when you go into Eve, the eve of that date, that would be the sacrificial death date. Okay, the day before. So this 1:28, yeah, when we go into Eve, that's when we die, right? 1:28, okay, is the day before 1:29. This is the eve. And he is dying at this moment, right? He is having the heart attack right now. He's dying. Okay, I hope you understand that, right? We've got the Vesica Pisces here. This kid's got a football. I mean, I said to my wife, I said, it's a bit strange that the kid's holding a football, isn't it, during the game? And she said, well, maybe they're at, you know, like somewhere that they can get that ball signed, you know, where they can reach over the side or something. And I was like, okay, maybe they are. Maybe he has got it to see if he can get it signed. But it just seemed a bit odd. I don't remember ever seeing anybody carrying any. I don't know. It just seemed odd. But anyway, we've also got this sign here. Okay, they got to play us. Okay, look at him pointing at the temple here. Okay, I haven't really done too much on this actual sign itself. but we've got the 1-8 again with the Bengals, the B here. And I'll tell you what else is interesting is, of course, the idea of this orange running across here. The orange running across, I don't know, is it black or is it a really dark blue? I don't know. It looks like a black to me. I don't know. Anyway, whatever color it is, that is kind of like the blood moon idea again. I think it would have been better off, obviously, if it was red on a white background. But we do have that idea of that kind of rust orange again over a color that represents the dark fiction. Okay. The other interesting thing that's on this sign, and it's really, really interesting, is the chant that Cincinnati has, the Bengals have, and it's Who Day, okay? W-H-O, and then day is D-E-Y, okay? Who Day. And again, the day, what I'm saying is 128 is the day before, and then 129 is Who Day, okay? Who Day. And he's saying, think McFly. He's saying think, okay? So Who Day. And what is interesting is we have the 129 on 128 on this side, and then this guy right here has a 9 shirt on, has the 9 on, okay? And Who Day is over this side, okay? So we have this whole thing right here, right while he's having the heart attack, okay? With the Who Day referenced, okay? And don't forget, Cincinnati sounds like Sin City, okay? Like Las Vegas, Sin City. Whew. I say this is going to be a long one, I'll tell you. Okay, let's get out of that right for a minute. Okay, so we can move through here a little bit more, and kind of as we move through here, this is interesting because the ball comes out, covers the 28, the 9 is now you can see the 9. You know, you've got to stop it at the right places, but it is kind of interesting. And we get a spot where you can, I think we get a spot where you can kind of see 129 as the numbers that are sitting out. Okay, then they're about to cut back. Let me just play just seconds of it, and they do actually start bringing up another sign, and I think it just says Who Day on it as well, something like that. But it happens so quickly, you almost need a super slow mo that. And I'll tell you what else is interesting. This play clock and the thing is still running down, and it stops right here at the play clock's on 35, and I'm not quite sure why that. I meant to ask my daughter; she's really into football, and I don't have a clue about it. But I'm not quite sure why that was set going with him still lying there on the field. But we get this 558 referenced in here. You probably can't see it in my image, and we get the 35 on the play clock as well. Okay, and again it's 1st and 10. Okay, so we have a reference to 1, 10, 11, 110, all kinds of good references. Okay, what I want to go to here, I want to show you something as well, right? So as they realize he's passed out, right, the first guy, okay, to start kneeling, okay, and I will just touch on this kneeling thing, okay. What do you do when you pray? You kneel, okay, and it's a sign of submission to something, to a higher something, whether that be whatever that higher thing is. Whether it's a wrong or right submission depends what you're kneeling in front of or what you're bowing to. You know, it's the same idea, right? Or who you're tipping your cap to, or who you are saluting. You know, it's all the same idea. This idea of, it doesn't matter if you're on one knee, two knees, whatever, bowing, curtsying, whatever you're doing, when you are making yourself making yourself just a little bit shorter or something in respect to something else, yeah, you're showing a sign of submission to that thing. Okay, it's super important. As Indiana Jones said, the humble man kneels before God. Okay, and I'll discuss that more when I go on the Hiram Abiff thing and the Osiris, and I'll also talk about Jesus in there as well. But the idea of kneeling is the penitent man. Okay, he is the man that is humble before God, right? And what does that mean to kneel before God, or to be humble in front of God? Okay, what that means is that you respect God's creation here, that you respect the laws that he's put here for us, that you respect what God stands for, which is balance. Okay, so if you're humble before God, if you respect that, i.e. you want to be that, yeah, you want to be the man that walks the balanced path. Okay, this is what this idea of being humble before God is. Okay, and so the first guy that's humbling himself, right, is 64. Okay, and as you can see right here, I think you can make it out now more that he's kind of, I was kind of putting him somewhere at the 51 where he's laying there. Okay, but this is interesting that this is 64. I'm going to show you some number jumps with the 64 and connect up some of these other dots here, okay, because there's so much. Oh, blimey now. Was there anything else I really wanted to go through in this? Okay, what the other thing I want to mention is back to the start of this, and in fact we get to see him. They show it later on. They show a replay from a different angle. Let's see what we can get here. Okay, I just click through a little bit. Okay, so what we've got is we've got number 3 clashing with 85. Okay, gets up, and actually there's not really much point in seeing. And this is, he's just going over now. Okay, he's just about to go down. It's interesting again that we have number 28, the day before 29. Number 20. Sorry, I have to be so. But the number 28 is right here. You know, helping up number 85. 85 is the balanced man. 58. Okay, let's just go back to the thing here, and let's just show you again why this 58 is important. The 58, yeah, it's referencing both columns, and we want both of these columns to be balanced. Okay, both these numbers form balance. Okay, when they are, you know, both referenced together in the correct manner. Okay, here's the 55 and the 88, yeah, for the total for these two columns. And again, we see those two numbers. We've got these two numbers floating about here, 55, 88, okay? They're on either side of the ground zero right here, okay? Anyway, he's going to go over, and I mean, who knows if this is a setup job or if this was real or what. I don't know what to think anymore on a lot of stuff. The other interesting thing, again, look at the ref's number. Look at the referee, the guy that's supposed to be administering balance. Okay, he's number 92. At least I think that's a 92. So again, we've got the 29 referenced right here with balance again. Geez, you just can't write this stuff, I'm telling you. Anyway, he's going over, and I mean, you know, if this was if this really happened, because you don't know. Only the people on the field and only this dude knows what really happened there. I mean, whether it was just a a staged thing, or whether this really happened. But of course, wish him well if it was a if this really was what happened. Hopefully he's feeling better. But what a thing to happen, though. What a metaphor to be part of. Anyway, there he is. Okay, the three, the Holy Trinity. Okay, this is what needs to be recouped. This three. Okay, the 3 days. Okay, of the, and I think really that's what it's. I mean, of course, it refers to all these things, but I think the three is there because it's the 3 days inclusive: the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday, the Resurrection Day, the Death Day, and of course we've got, of course it's not the Friday before, but we do have a Friday the 13th coming up. A day associated with, I guess, a day that's associated with death, really. I mean, I don't know how else you would explain that, but yes, bad luck, death. Okay, so that is interesting. Got the 37 again here. I mean, it's not difficult within. I know it's not difficult within a football game to see a lot of numbers that are very, very prominent in kind of that run through the fabric of decoding world, if you like. Very, kind of very significant numbers. Okay, so it's not difficult to find these numbers anyway on any football field, really. Where else do I want to go with this? I think we've pretty much covered all that. What I want to do now is we'll kick into some of these number jumps. Okay, I'm just going to click on them, and that was from a previous decode. Sorry, that was from my other video I just did. This is one of the first ones. Okay, and this is super interesting. I mean, personal references again in this for me, but we go from January the 2nd, the day of the game, and we do that 558 that is on the clock, and we'll do a minus number jump. Okay, and we're at the 23rd of June. Now, let me just double check something here. Hang on a second. What was the other way? The 13th of July. That again is another. Let me show you the 13th of July, and then we'll go back to this 23rd. Okay, the 13th of July, right here. Okay, it shows up twice. It's here and here. It's in the big, what I call the big L. Okay, there's a reversed L in here, and it shows up twice. So that is a significant number to be showing up. Okay. But if we do the minus again, you might recall a video. I just did a decode on David Bowie, the Black Star album cover decode, right? And the 23rd of June comes up in that. Okay, it's the day before, again, the eve of the Champlain Towers collapse, condo collapse, on the 24th of June. Okay. What do I want to say about this 23rd? It's super interesting because this day with David Bowie marks something. Okay, and let me go to it. No. Maybe I don't know where I've got it actually. I thought I had it in here. You know what? I may not have it in here. Some Madonna stuff there. Don't you just hate it when you've got so many tabs? Well, I could have sworn I had it up. You know what I'm going to have to do? I'll just talk you through it, actually. That's going to be the quickest and easiest thing to do. Hang on. How many times can I go over the same thing? There it is, there. That's why I didn't spot it, because it's under something else. Okay. So I was looking at some David Bowie stuff, and this popped out. Okay. Heart attack, David Bowie, 23rd of June, while on tour. Okay. And I was like, you just can't write this stuff, you know. So we've got another reference back to a heart attack with David Bowie, but it gets even better than that, right? Because I didn't read any of this really. I just was kind of scrolling through it, you know. I tend to just skim read, and just if anything sort of stands out to me, I might go and read that paragraph or whatever. But anyway, I was looking down here and I started seeing these dates for his touring dates and where he was going to be at, and you know, I seen Rotterdam on the 15th. I thought, oh, this would be interesting if, you know, if something was on a significant day, you know, like here with the 131 and the 1031 with Cologne, the two columns, you know, the columns, the clone, and I've done a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I've done a bunch of stuff, early decodes that ties back to Cologne or Cologne, and of course it all ties into Lincoln and a ton of other stuff. But I was just thinking, oh, wouldn't it? You know, I'll just have a look through here and see what shows up on certain dates, you know. And of course, the one I'm gravitating to is the 29th of January, but there is no 29th of January. We've only got the 30th. So we're a day off, we're a day after. And where, lo and behold, where we're at, Las Vegas. You can't write it. You just can't write this stuff. We're at Las Vegas on January the 30th, okay? Okay? So we have that reference back to the Hoover Dam almost. It's so close. It's so blooming close. And I think this is, I don't know if I mentioned it, is called as a reality tour. Back to reality tour or reality tour, I don't know what it is. I'll go back up to the top and I'll show you what it's called, so you can come and look it up for yourself. But I was like, oh, I keep on going through, you know, and see where our other date is, the May the 9th date. I may be losing some people here. What is the May the 9th date? It is the corresponding 100-day jump from the January the 29th, okay? And May the 9th is not here, but interestingly, May the 10th, okay? And again, with the completion idea going along here. So May the 10th was, was Kansas City. And I'm like, oh, that's not quite a nice reference for Dorothy coming home, you know? So it might be an interesting next 100 days. I'm not sure. But this was on his a reality tour. Interesting. So you can go and look that up. But that's when he had his heart attack. Anyway, there's a ton of other. Obviously, there's a ton of reference numbers in here. Look at the number of shows. 112. Okay. Again, we can get back to the 2nd of January with that number. We got the 85. We've got the 29. We've got the 70. Legs, 5 legs. I mean, oh, blimmin' hell. I'm going to, and it's interesting, the end date, the 25th of June, okay? And again, he has his heart attack, what? 3 days earlier. Well, 2 days earlier. 3 days inclusive again. 23rd, 24th, 25th. End date, okay? I mean, you can't write this stuff, you know, like even here with the October the 7th start, 17, the 1-7, you know. Let me show you the 1-7. You know, here is the 1-7. This is the start, 7-11 right here. 1-7. Kind of before the 9/11. Ah, dear. Lordy Lord knows how long this video is going to be. So anyway, we just did this 558 from the second. I mean, you can probably do some other number jumps with that 558 or switch stuff around. I've got another number jump here. Okay, the first guy to kneel, the number 64. Okay, why am I going from, Dan, you're going from November the 26th here. How the hell have you pulled that? Where have you pulled that number from out of all that lot? Okay, we can see that from November the 26th, 64 days takes us to January the 29th. Let's go and see what's interesting about November the 26th. Okay, here's the 26th. Okay, the one guy that was standing and remained standing while everybody was around in a circle praying later on after they had taken away in the ambulance, I think, was number 33. Again, Christ, yeah, the resurrect man. Everybody else is kneeling. He is risen. Okay, that's why he's standing there. Okay, we also have that 35 that was on the play clock. The 35 that was on the play clock. So this seemed a logical place to look at for me. Okay, you can find 33s. Here's a 33 here on the 28th again. Okay, so there's another good reference with the 33 to the 128. Okay, we have an 1128 here. All right, and again with the 333 on the 29th. All right, now, so that's why I picked that date. And also remember, this is also a 1, that 11, because we can reduce that. We can just knock one of them ones off because we've got a duplicate. Okay, the other thing to note as well is January was the 11th month once upon a time, so we've kind of got that interchangeability with January being 11 and 1. We can kind of infer that again back with this 26, this 1126 could be a 126. A couple of years ago when this all kicked off with the Kobe Bryant helicopter scenario. Okay, so again, interesting there, that we are basically 4 days, like Lazarus, like David Bowie's song Lazarus, whatever it was called. Okay, 4 days resurrection instead of the 3 days. That's 4 days inclusive and 3 days inclusive. Okay. What other number jumps did I have in here? Okay, so we did that 64. You can also do, I believe there was I can't remember what it was with the 46-day jump. Where did 46 take me? Hang on a minute. Oh, 46 takes you to the 11th of January. Okay, and I just posted a video on this on the aeroplane lockdown. So they locked down aircraft travel. Okay, that is a reference right back to the beginning. Okay, because the last time they did that was 9/11. So we have that reference back to the start to finish. Okay, but we have to add the other part of this date on. Okay, this is the 111. 101 days left in the year of 9/11. And we have to add on an 18. That 18 from, which would have created the 9. Okay, that 18 is reduced back down to a 9 for 9/11. Okay, and it's also reduced back down to a 9 for the 29th. Okay, so we just have to add on that 18, the other balancing number, to go with this to get back to balance now. Okay, so it's interesting that we have this 46 and another pop-up date. Okay, what we got going on here? We got the 85. So the T. Higgins character that played 85, this chap. Okay, T. What is the T? The T is the cross. Okay. Look at the birthday, January the 18th. Come on. Okay. The 118, that's the condensed version of 1118, okay? Again, we may actually see something on the 18th, or maybe this was the 18th reference, I don't know. But this is the 85, yeah? So go back to the chart so we can see this. Look, here's the 1118, okay? His birthday, okay? And, oh, just stop doing this. And here's the 58, the 85, okay? Super interesting. Right on top of one another. Double balance, okay? So, we have the T. Higgins. We've dealt with him. We've talked about him very briefly. Let's do the number jump for him. Okay, which is, why am I going from the 5th of November? Okay. Well, there's a couple of reasons, but those two dates, those two references with his birthday and his number, right? We have basically, if we were to look at the table, it is a 511. Those two dates, his number, and when we just put him in the table, and his birthday is 511. Okay, the 5th of November. It's also, remember, the game is in the first quarter. Okay, and the first quarter of the dollar bill, for people that haven't seen my dollar bill decodes, let me explain where the first quarter of the dollar bill decode starts. Okay, November the 5th is the first quarter. Okay, then we go to the 30th of November. Okay, we're going 25 days each time. Okay, then we're going to go to the 25th, right, of December, Christmas. Okay, and then we're going to go to, oh, it's not on there, is it? We've got to go right back to the other side of the year. Hang on. In fact, let's just click on this one out on it. Then we're going to go to the 19th of January. Okay, January the 19th, 119, 911. Okay, that's our Calvin Klein, our 11-9. Okay, and then we're going to go into the 13th of February. Okay, this is the final quarter. So the game itself is referencing the first quarter. Okay, so we should do our number jump from the first quarter, you know. So that's partially to do with the guy he's going to hit, partially to do with the fact that it's in the first quarter, and I know that the dollar bill decode, the first quarter starts on 511, and there's also another reason why we should pick. I've got to go to the other one again. There's another reason why we should pick November the 5th to start this number jump. Okay, because November the 5th is 309. Okay, so it's a 39. Okay, it's not, you know, you can always drop that zero. Zero counts for nothing, right? So it's a 39, but it's not quite a 39, is it? It's kind of it's not quite a 39, and this is where I was going with this thing here at the start of this, right? Is this black line is not quite on the 39. It's not quite a 39, but we're going to call it a 39. You know, the same as they would just call this the 39 yard line. Okay, what we're looking at is not quite a 39, but we're going to call it a 39 because we can just get rid of that zero. Okay, so they're starting this play from the 39. I hope I'm getting all this stuff right. The 39 yard line. Okay. So we should start our number jump. That's going to go 8. This pass is going to 85. Woo! Let's do it. Okay, come on. Okay. So from the 5th of November, we are going 85 days, and it takes us to January the 29th. Absolutely unbelievable. But that, to me, is a logical decode there. It's logical. We're kind of at the 39 yard line. We're going to use 309, days gone in the year. We're going to use the fact that his birthday ties in and his number ties in to the 5th of November in my decode chart, right? And we're going to use, what was the other thing we were going to use? I can't even remember now. Okay. The dollar. We're going to use the dollar decode. And why is the dollar so important? Why am I using that dollar decode? Because we're dealing with the Buffalo Bills. Okay, the bills. The dollar is the bill, the dollar bill. Okay, and what is interesting about the buffalo, the holy cow, that again, you've heard of the false idol worship of the golden. I guess it's a golden bull or whatever they would have worshipped. I don't know what it is. Somebody put it in the comments. But that golden idol that would have had a resemblance of this bison, has, there is a reference to back to the dollar, is where I'm trying to get with this. This false idol, the I-dollar, the $1, the idol. So the $1 bill, the Billy Idol, right, goes back to, we can get back with the buffalo again, not just from the idea of the false worship or the false idol, right, but we can also get back to, what am I trying to get to? We can get back to the dollar because of this dollar that was minted, this coin, silver dollar coin. Okay, and of course it's a silver dollar coin. I think they did some gold ones as well, but 2001 this was minted in. Okay, and they used this image, what would have been originally on the nickel. Okay, the 5 cent. Okay, so again with the 5 of the metaphysical. Okay. So what I mean, and that's the thing that we're stuck in. We're stuck in the head of the ball, yeah, because the top of the ball represents the the oviducts and the womb, yeah. That's what that looks like. So that's where we're stuck right now. We're stuck inside the matrix, inside the silver moon, okay? Okay? And again, the holy cow, the moon, I mean, it's all the same. It's all the same blooming references, okay? But this is connecting us back to 2001 again, and it's connecting us to the dollar now with the buffalo, okay? So you see where I'm going with this? But it gets even better than this, because initially, when I heard the name Damar, and of course I'm like, oh yes, it's the dam, and Ra is stuck in the dam. Yeah, he's reversed, because it's DAM, and then it's AR instead of RA. Okay, so the sun god, the sun is stuck inside the dam because it's reversed. It's backwards, and that's what we are when we're in the matrix, of backwards. So I was like, of course, that part of the name was like mental for me. And then, but I'm like thinking about the second part of the name, and I'm like, Hamlin. It sounds like it keeps taking me to Hamilton. Okay, and I'm thinking, well, we've had quite a lot of Hamilton references in the last few years as well, with the Broadway show and everything else and all that stuff going on. But I'm like, it's reminding me of Hamilton. Okay, and so his name himself is, I'm thinking of Hamilton, and I did look up Buffalo dollar, and this also came up, this $10 bill, and I'm like, blooming hell, now we're linking the buffalo again, the Buffalo Bills, back to the 1010 as well, and who's on the $10 bill, but Hamilton's on the $10 bill. So I'm thinking, boy, this is just a a roller coaster of a decode here, you know. So we're getting back to the $10 bill, the 1010, back with the Sata square, the 1010 of the Sata square, you know, this thing. Okay, here's the 10 net, 1010, coming back to a central balance point, the N, the 14 pieces of Osiris now connecting back with Rambo's truth codes decode. Oh, well, very interesting. But it gets even better than this because we're going to come on to some other stuff here. Because who is on the $10 bill, the 1010? Okay, it's Hamilton. Absolutely insane. Okay, now I'm looking at this $10 bill, and I'm like, bloody hell! You know what I'm seeing here and here? I'm seeing fold markers on this bill. And they're running, and I'm going to show you these fold markers, but you see them? This is the little angel here. This is the little angel, and there's a 10 above it and a 10 above it, or to the side of it. Okay? So now I've got a million references here with this. This is just getting more and more nuts. I'm telling myself, blimmin' hell. I'm going to put a line through here and see what, you know, I already know what it's referencing, you know, but I'm going to put a line through it so you can understand it a little bit better. Let's go back to this. Now you can have a look at these, right? So I've put a line through that marker, okay, to the other marker. So we're going right through the 1010. Okay, the 1010, super important, right? And again, the fold marker on the dollar bill, the corresponding fold markers on the dollar bill give us this is the dam here, okay, right? There is the Hoover Dam right there with the water gushing over it. Okay, let me make this just a little bit bigger. Okay, so, and we have it repeated here. We have that idea repeated. The water's gushing right here. Okay, interesting you use red there, Dan, because it's the Colorado. Okay, okay, and there it comes again here. You know, this is the water bursting from the elevator in The Shining, yes, and there's a body in there, a man being reborn from the elevator, from the Colorado River, where the Overlook Hotel is. Okay, so this just gets more and more nuts. You know, what's even crazier is look at this now. We've got an S10 here. S10. Who has an S10 vehicle? Chevy, the S10 pickup. Guess what it is? It's a quarter-ton pickup. The S10 is a quarter-ton, a quarter again. Yeah? A quarter. You know? I mean, Osiris, again, cut them to 14 pieces, but the idea of quartering, you know? Hung, drawn, and quartered. The idea of quartering. Interesting. And, you know, again, the idea of going into the last quarter now, okay, and getting that quarterback now. I don't know, the quarterback, okay. So it's pretty interesting. But the Chevy S10 quarter-ton pickup drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. You just can't write this stuff. You just cannot write it. I'm telling you. Okay. So we've got this S10 reference. I put S10 in the Dramatrinator. Let's just pop to the Dramatrinator. I know this is all over the place, but look, I've got Chevy S10. I don't have Chevy on it, but it's S10. Look what it is. 2911. The ordinal is 29. The reduction is 11, and the reverse reduction is an 18 and an 18. I mean, I can't believe what I'm seeing at this point in time, you know. I've also got Alexander Hamilton in here. Look at his reverse numbers here. 283. Let me show you something. The 283rd day of the year. Let's go to it. Here we are, October, the 283rd day of the year. 10, 10. 1010. Oh, it's probably why they put him on the bill. They probably knew this at the time, and they're like, well, you ought to go on the bill, seeing as you correspond to this date. But whether or not they were, or yeah, they would have been in the new calendar at that point. But yeah, just nuts. What else? What else did I want to show you about this? I think, yeah, I think I'm kind of. The other thing that was interesting with the two S's in each corner was, again, going back to the back to that Seta square. Okay, so we have a double S reference. Okay, because they reverse the S's in the Seta square to highlight their importance. Okay, and to maybe encode some more stuff about, you know, what's going on. But there it is. Okay, again, absolutely insane. What else did I have on this? Blimmin' hell. I don't know what to say. So, you know, we're going full circle here. To excuse the pun again there with the completion of the cycle, but you know, the Damar, the link now to 1010, and of course, if you've not seen my other decodes, okay, let me show you the importance of the reference that we just had as well to 111, because like I was saying, 111 is it's like the kingpin reference to 9/11 is 111. Okay, and if we go from 1010 now, okay, and again, 1010 is double referencing the idea of a completion of a cycle. So if we go from that date and we go 111, 111 days, jump, we will get to the 29th of January again. Okay, ignore the thing. I should have changed this back to 2022. It doesn't matter. Okay, but it will take us back to January the 29th. Okay. Okay. 2023, because all of our balancing stuff is happening in 2022. All these kind of, that point of where the mirror is, you know, where the 10 is reading front and then it's reading backwards to that point. 2022, I believe, is that balancing reference there. Okay. I don't know what else to say about it, other than it's not just, you know, this idea of death and rebirth and where it comes from, and, you know, Rambo going on about the Osiris thing and the Hiram Abiff, and then of course we've got Jesus as well. This is the same stuff that's been going on for eons before that as well. Okay, this isn't, oh, this guy, they've copied from them and this is taken from there. Okay, it may be taken from there superficially, but the fact of the matter is, the actual story that's being relayed here is from the beginning of time. That story is. I mean, there will have been civilizations way before the Egyptians that would have done all this. I don't know a lot about Indian culture and what kind of stuff they do, and the same with the Chinese stuff. You know, all that kind of Asian and Middle Eastern stuff. I don't have a lot of I don't know a lot about that stuff. But I bet you any money, if you sat and looked at it, it would be exactly the same kind of ideas going on. And you know, that those cultures were there. You know, that's where Egypt and them lot got their, you know, supposedly got their ideas from. But you can, there's an argument for the fact that you can just simply look out the bloody window and see all this stuff. That's really where it all comes from. It comes from nature. You know, it's all based off of the stars in the sky, how nature works, how cycles in nature work, you know, patterns in nature. That's where all this comes from originally. It all comes from God originally. Okay, so nitpicking about which one come first and which, blah de blah de blah. And if you were to look at our reality now, okay, this reality, not necessarily these rituals are not necessarily all being put there by Masons, for example. They're not necessarily, when these rituals happen day to day, that's kind of the fluid nature of what's going on. Okay, and then there's people copying stuff as well, and but what I'm saying is these things happen anyway. Okay, these stories, these metaphors are being produced anyway by the system, by God, by the way our system is interacting with nature, or not interacting with nature, or out of balance with nature. But these things just pop up naturally, if you like, fluidly. I rather put it fluidly. And that's it. I mean, was this all staged? Was this a bunch of Masons that got together and said, "Hey, we're gonna stage this like it was, like a rebirthing," or did this happen fluidly? If you start decoding your own life, you start to see, holy, there's some stuff that happens and some little things that start. Let me give you an example, right? Christmas time, right? So again, we're at a time of and it's a stupid little story, but I'll tell you it. We're opening presents, and I opened a present for my in-laws, and I got a shirt, like a check plaid, blue and kind of a grey coloured shirt, hoodie thing built in, like a lumberjack type thing, right? So I had this blue and kind of grey coloured one, and my son got one as well, and he got a red and sort of whitey grey coloured. I mean, you could see it, exactly the same shirt, but a red one compared to a blue one, right? And you were getting the idea of a cross in there with the plaid, the check. Okay. The what am I going to say? I went out to do some chores. I come back in, and my wife's wearing the shirt. Okay. And I'm like, and she's like, "I don't think you'll get into this." Okay. And I did try it on, and it was a bit tight. So I've lost that shirt to my wife. But my wife has a ton of 11 stuff in her, in her little reality bubble, in her decodes. She has a ton of 11 stuff. And my son, which I have loads of nicknames for him, but one of them is the prodigal son, because he's my only son. I always call him the prodigal son, just messing around, and he's got the whole blonde hair and blue eyes thing going on. Not so much. He did when he was younger, but not so much now. But what's interesting about that is, I put a label on him as the prodigal son. He kind of has that kind of glow about him, something a little bit different with the blue eyes, with the idea of the being able to look in, like the blue eyes represent the fiction, the divine feminine, at the point of the eye is the Vesica Pisces. So you get this idea, and the blonde hair of the son, this, and I'm calling him the prodigal son as well, as a joke kind of thing. And he's wearing this red shirt, like the blood moon, like the St. George's cross, the balanced sun at Christmas time, and my wife's wearing the Virgin Mary stuff, the blue and white, and that's the kind of things that happen, and it's just, I'm just like, really? I mean, it could have been any, those gifts could have been anything else. I mean, they could have, I mean, it's just nuts, just absolutely nuts. But when you start looking at your own life, when you start looking at the things that happen and looking at the numbers and everything else, you suddenly realize that there is, even though some of this stuff can pop up quite a lot. And then you're like, well, this is happening all the time, and it's maybe this isn't so special, but it is special because it's the underlying fabric of the reality. Is these metaphors that are teaching us about freedom, about what we need to do to be free, and what essentially freedom results in is a result of is being balanced. Okay, being in alignment with God. God is ultimate balance, you know. So, but it's interesting that you can see these things once you start decoding yourself. You start realizing, wow, okay, well, that isn't the Masons doing that. I know that much, you know. I know I've got a couple of family members that have got something to do with the Masons, but they're only, you know, it's like a bloody book club at that level. You know, they go along and have a cup of tea and that, and a chat with each other and all that kind of stuff. But you know, I mean, it's just nuts. Before I close up, right, let's just hit the old Damar Hamlin gematria. Okay, so with his full name, and don't forget we've got this 49 popping up in here, and the 94, and that guy was stood number 49 again, stood very close by, and of course the 49 is the day before 50. Okay. Let me. What I want to do. Oh, and also Hamilton has the 94. Okay. I'm struggling here now. Oh, that's what I wanted to show you. This as well in the reverse here. So Hamilton's reverse numbers here. The 283 was important. Okay, because it took us to 1010. Okay. Let's go down now and look at 336. Okay, where is 336 taking us? Let's also note the fact that we had the connection here with these two, and the 111 is here as well. Let's go to 336. I know what 336 is. Okay, here we are. Okay, January, and the number 336, 336 days left in the year. Again, it's January the 29th. Okay. I mean, I can do a lot. I can do some other number jumps here with this stuff. But I think I just want to leave it there. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there, because otherwise we will be, you know, I mean, it's just a couple of other interesting things as well. We've got the 35 repeated when I write 1 in, like is how it's written on the dollar bill. So we have this 35 repeated. We have the 17 again that comes before the 18. And also, if you write 1010, like it's written on the bill as well, we've got the 49 again, repeated the 49, the 52, and the 25 in here. So I mean, you know, I mean, it's just non-stop on this one, I'm afraid to say. I dread to think how long that is. Probably at least an hour, I'd imagine. I'm trying to see through here if I just want to mention two more things. One more thing. Okay, this whole idea, going back to Rambo again with the Osiris and the Hiram Abiff thing, and again with the Osiris thing, this link back to Egypt, and with the Hoover Dam, we have this link back to Egypt with the two winged angels that also happen to look like Anubis heads, and of course the kind of idea of the, you know, the actual dam itself. You just get this sense of, because of the Art Deco as well, because Art Deco is essentially, I mean, it's pretty much lifted from Egypt as well, that kind of style, right? So you have all that referencing there back to Egypt, and the actual dam itself, with the way that the dam looks, you get that idea of like again the throne, but also it just echoes Egypt for me. I don't know why, but it just seems like that thing shows up either in behind what I want to say, Pharaoh or whatever, you know. And these two guys here are with Pharaoh, you know what I mean? So again, you know, that whole rebirth thing, ritual tying back to that as well. Again, Rambo links Horus to what is basically Jesus Christ as well. So, but anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done on this one. Okay, so maybe Ra is going to get out of the dam on the 29th. I don't know. I don't know. It may be something big. It may be something just as simple as somebody flipped the wrong switch and it turns off for a day or two. You know, who the hell knows what the hell's going to happen. But, you know, where the place that in 1955 that could generate, I couldn't find the exact figures, but it was pretty close, 1.21 gigawatts. Yes, 1.21 gigawatts could have probably been produced at the Hoover Dam in 1955. So I'm leaving it there. All right, cheers, bye.